I've never heard this before out of the Bible, but they say they love God, they know the Bible, they believe every word out of the Bible, but when we read this, it's hard for our people to understand it and believe this.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So God got a holy people, a separate people unto himself.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So he got a special people unto himself. If he has a special people, then that means everybody else, all the other nations, are not special to him.
That's right.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
He said above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 1. So God has a holy people, a special people, a people that's above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Hey, bro, do you got a question? You got a question right now?
Not really.
Not really? You just listening?
Yeah.
All right. This for you, bro. Hey, sis, you got a question? Hey, listen to this script real quick for me. Read.
Bring it out.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So it said, it shall come to pass. It shall surely happen if you listen to the voice of the Lord thy God, which is this Bible,
to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
To do all the commandments and his statutes, which he command you this day, which I'm going to get some for you.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
That he will sit you upon high above all nations of the earth. But are we there? Are we above all nations of the earth? Let me get Baruch 4:1. Yeah, we're breaking the commandments, and the women are breaking the commandment, men and women. But we gotta know the commandments to do them, though, sis. You said what? It start with the brothers. It start with the men. It does, because we're leaders. We're the leader of the household. But the women has to be submissive to the man. Let me get submissive real quick. Let me get what I want.
Ephesians 5.
Ephesians 5 and 22.
Bring it out.
5 and 22. So, because I'm going to use my mom for example. Hey, sis, are you listening? I'm going to use my mom for... I'm going to use my mom for example, right? Hold on. Sis, it's more than that. It's more than that. If your man come home from work and tell you, hey, cook me something to eat, you supposed to say, okay. Hold on, sis. If he tell you, hey, get up and iron my clothes for me, you have to do that. You have to do all of this, sis. Well, watch this.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord.
So it said, wives, submit yourself unto your husband as unto the Lord. So you have to look at your husband as the Lord of your household. Hey, bro, do you understand that? You understand that when you get a wife, she has to submit herself unto you. Just like if Christ would come down and ask you to do something, she has to treat you the same way. But hold on, sis. Was he a godly man? Was he a godly man?
Yeah.
He was a godly man?
Yeah, he was himself.
I'm gonna prove to you that he was not. I'm gonna prove to you he was not, because you say he cheated on you, right? Or he did something like that to you. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Let me get what you got. Let me get that in Exodus 20. Let me show you something real quick. Hey sis, this for you too. This for you too, sis. This for you too. Hey, read.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 14.
Bring it out.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
So that's a commandment of the Lord. If he committed adultery, he's not a man of God. You see what I'm saying? But up here, these men up here, we men of God. I don't cheat on my wife. I don't cheat on my wife. I don't do those things. You see what I'm saying? So the way that your man is, you can tell if he's a man of God or not. He's supposed to be your example, just like I'm the example for my wife. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta have a godly man first of all, but you have to carry yourself right too, sis. You know what I'm saying? Let me get what do I want? Second Timothy, modest apparel, real quick. I mean that's fine, sis. Well, let me get that real quick because this is what we got to do. Because a lot of women, hey sis, a lot of women do not dress right. They dress in whorish apparel, and then they get a man that look upon them like, dang, I can smash that. And then they go after them, they giggle, and then you got you a man on the streets. You know what I'm saying? But then you think that the man is going to treat you right and give you everything you need, you know what I'm saying, and most of the things you want, and not do any wrong to you.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
So women has to dress in modest apparel, not to attract a whoremonger. Because if you don't dress in modest apparel, that's exactly what you're going to attract. It's a whoremonger. You see what I'm saying? Let me get Deuteronomy 22 and 5. Do you understand that, bro? You know what I'm saying? Because most men, if they see a woman in a bikini right now walk down the street, they gonna turn their head. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not modest. A bikini ain't even modest for a beach setting. You're not supposed to wear that. That's the make men lust after that woman. You know what I'm saying? That's whoredom. You see what I'm saying? That's making the man lust. That's making the man commit sin because we lust after them.
So let me get this real quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5.
This is another commandment for the women and the men.
Verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
So we're gonna deal with the last part first. Neither shall a man not put on a woman's garment. What's a woman's garment that men wearing today? We have the so-called pride thing going on today, right? What's something a man put on today that's acceptable, that wasn't acceptable 30 years ago?
Bring it out, Doc. Bring it out.
A skirt, right, bro. Exactly, right on the money. We're not supposed to wear skirts. You see what I'm saying? That's against God. Let's see what God said that is to him. Let's read the last part.
For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
They are abomination unto the Lord thy God. If you're a man and you put on a skirt, that's an abomination unto God. Now let's deal with the first part of it. This is for my women. Let's see if you really like God. Let's see if you really love God and do his commandments. Watch this.
For the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
What do a woman wear that everybody think is okay that pertains to a man?
That's right.
Pants. Absolutely, sis. You said it right off. Women are not supposed to wear pants. That it was not made for them. You see what I'm saying? Most jeans have a zipper on it. What do a woman need a zipper for? What are they pulling out? You see what I'm saying? That's not according to God. Right. You see? Let me get Baruch 4:1 real quick. So, what's your question, sis? I can't hear you.
I used to think it was okay to wear like different clothes because as long as it was made in the women's section and with women's clothes, I thought it was okay. As long as it was women.
But where did you learn that from? Yeah, I understand that. I understand you said you thought that before, but now you know better, right? But where did you learn that from? You learned that from here. You learned this from Babylon the Great. You learned this from America. Because I thought it was okay before I got into this Bible until men of God re-taught me this Bible. You see what I'm saying? I ain't think it was nothing wrong with it neither. My wife used to wear pants. But as soon as I learned that she wasn't, I told her, hey, you gotta throw them pants away. She was like, that's too hard. That's hard. I was like, come on, I'm finna go buy you 4 skirts right now. And she wore those 4 skirts for that week. Next week, I went and bought her 2 more. And now, she don't got a pair of pants in the house.
That's right.
If she was what? Officer of the law? Let me get that in Baruch. We're yet still in our captivity. What's that? 3 and 8.
Yep.
All right, sis. Hey, I'm finna show you. I'm finna answer your question real quick.
This is the book of Baruch.
No, that's a good question, sis. That's a good question. Listen up.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
So we're yet this day in our captivity, because when we came over here on slave ships, they never took us back to where we came from, right? So we're this day yet in our captivity. So when you go get a job, you got to get a job to survive, right? And if your job uniform is that you must wear pants, you're in captivity. You got to wear them pants. You see what I'm saying? When we was in the cotton field and the sugar cane fields and in the wheat fields and all on them plantations back in the day during slavery, you couldn't do what you wanted to do, right? You had to submit until the Edomite that was over you, until the slave master, right? You had to do what he say. Just today, our field is our jobs now.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So we have to submit to what they say. You know, some jobs tell some of our brothers that they can't wear fringes on their clothes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's loose, it might get caught on something, so they can't wear it out in plain sight. But as soon as they get out of work, they put it on. Just like a woman. If you're a cop going to work, wear your skirt. As soon as you get in the precinct, go to the bathroom, put your pants, your uniform on, go out, do your job for them 8, 10, 12 hours, whatever you're doing. Go back, go in the restroom, get your skirt back on, and then leave. You see what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. He's a merciful God. He knows we're in our captivity.
That's right.
But you have to do his commandments. But watch this. Let me get Baruch 4:1 real quick. Hold on, bro. I'm gonna get your question real quick.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All that keep it shall come to life.
So if you keep the law, these commandments, you shall come to life. You will really know what life is about. You see what I'm saying? And it's about this Bible and us keeping these laws. Keep reading.
But such as leave it shall die.
So all that does not do the commandments, they shall die. When Christ comes back, you will die. And you will be spiritually dead here today, because we have people walking around that don't even know the Bible, but to say they love God. But when we tell them, well, God don't love everybody, oh, I don't want to hear that. I'm gone. Y'all racist.
Right.
But it's in the Bible, though. You see what I'm saying? When we tell you that, oh, you can't wear pants, oh, I don't believe that, God ain't gonna kill me for pants, but it's in the Bible though. You see what I'm saying? You have to do his commandments and understand his commandments. Hey bro, what's your question? Okay.
Don't have no money. Stop. So if y'all want to help these kids, we don't.
We're helping her by these laws that's in this Bible. Let me get Matthew 4:4 real quick. Watch this, sir, because you said she's hungry, right? But listen to what the Bible says.
I don't need to.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
So man shall not live by bread alone, but by this Bible you shall live. Let me get John 6:63 real quick.
Hosea 5:15.
Is that the one? Know what you do unto the godly man.
After you don't
That's what I need.
say something.
Watch this, because Matthew just said that you shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of this book. You see what I'm saying?
This is the book of John, chapter 6 and verse 63. It is the spirit that quickeneth, and the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
So the words that we speak unto you out of this Bible, they are spirit and they are life. That's how you live. You have to wake up, because we're walking around in a dead state right now. We don't understand who we are. We ask Ishmaelite, a so-called Arab, what he is or who he is or where he come from. He can say Saudi Arabia, he can say Kuwait, he can say Qatar, Bahrain, Dubai, Lebanon. Like, he know where he's from.
Come on.
But if I ask a black man, a so-called black man, hey bro, what are you? He gonna say black or African American. African American are two white men. Leo Sciffrus Africanus, who conquered and tried to colonize Africa, and then Americo Vespucci, who came over here and conquered America. So Americo and Leo Sciffrus Africanus, that's African American. That's your African American right there. How can a black person, so-called black person, come from two white men? Can any person come from two men? Two men can't make anything.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? But we'll say we African American in a heartbeat. Let me get that.
This is the book of John, chapter 6 and verse 26. Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me, not because ye say or saw the miracles, but because ye did eat of the loaves and were filled.
So he said you saw Jesus because you did eat of the bread, of the loaves of this Bible, and were filled. Because if you do these commandments, you will be filled. You won't hunger no more, because you'll start walking after the statutes, laws, and commandments of this Bible. Let's read.
Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for the meat which endureth or unto everlasting life.
So it said, don't labor for the meat which perish, the meat that you eat. You see what I'm saying? That you need to when you get hungry. But it said, labor for the meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which is this Bible. Because once you understand this Bible, can't nobody take it away from you, unless you just want it to be taken away. But can't nobody tell you that just anything out of this Bible, because can't nobody come up here and tell me that God loves everybody. Well, I'm gonna tell them Joel 2:27. You know,
Amos 3:1.
Yeah, Amos 3:1. Like it's a lot of them in there. Romans 13:4. Is that what it is? 9 and 13. All praises, soldier. 9 and 13. He hates people. He don't like the other nations. You see what I'm saying? So let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 15 real quick, because a lot of us are in a low state and we don't understand why. Matter of fact, hold that. Let me get Joel 3 and 3, because we got to understand how we got here. We got to understand, we already know how we got here, because you know that we got here on slave ships, right? But did you know that was in the Bible? Did you know from the beginning to the end of that is in the Bible? You knew that? Well, let me kinda? Well, let me show you. Let's read.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might be drunk.
So it said they had casted lots for his people. Who cast lots for us? Who bought and sold us? The so-called white man, right? That's out of the Bible. Let's keep reading.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
Tyre and Zidon are African nations, because you know, so-called white man, a Caucasian, an Edomite, tell you in a heartbeat, well, y'all was selling each other. It's a difference between the Israelites and the Africans. We are Israelites. They are Hamites. God put a difference between us, because the original Egyptians were black, right? The original Egyptians was black, right? But they had Israelites in slavery, right? And Moses had to go to the Egyptian Pharaoh and tell him, let my people go. He killed the firstborn of every Egyptian male just for Israel. You see what I'm saying? That's how he put a difference between us. So Tyre and Zidon are African nations. Let's keep reading.
and all the coast of Palestine.
Palestine are the Arabs, the so-called Ishmaelites. You see what I'm saying? You know who the Arabians is? The Arabs. That's who Palestine is. So you have the Africans and the Arabs. Let's see what he say. Hold on.
Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Recompense is hatred. Is want to pay back. They want to pay back the Most High because He chose us and not them. The Hamites and the Ishmaelites, Zidon, Tyre, the Africans, and Palestine, the Arabs.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem.
So the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, the Israelites, let's read.
Have ye sold unto the Grecians?
It said they sold us unto the Grecians. You know who the Grecians are, sis? The Greeks. You know what color the Greeks was? They're the white man. Yes, they're the white men. It says they sold us unto the Grecians.
Yes, right.
You see what I'm saying? Now let me get, and I'm gonna deal with that. Let me get Sirach 13 and 12. Is that your enemy?
12 and
12 and 13?
12 and 10.
12 and 10, let me get that real quick. Because I'm finna read something to you and then I'm gonna show you who your enemies are.
This is the book of Sirach, or book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10.
Hey, listen up, sisters, listen up, this is important.
Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
So it said, never trust thine enemies. And then, you know, most of us say, well, that was back then. If I tell you, hey, don't jump off that building, don't ever jump off that top of that building, and then 20 years later, you're like, well, that's Soldier Maccabeus told me that 20 years, I can jump off of it now. You'll still die, right? So it says, never trust thine enemies. Never. Let me show you who your enemies are. Let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 48 real quick.
Bring it out.
No, see, those enemies, the people that's of your nation, those enemies of your people, of your own people. But it tells us that we have to forgive them. We have to do good to them. We have to treat them in the manner of this Bible. But the enemy, your enemy, our nation's enemy, the Israelites' enemy is, let's read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48.
Bring it out.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
So it said, so thou shalt serve thine enemies. Y'all listen up, sis? It said you shall serve your enemies.
Serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. In hunger.
So when you're hungry, you have to go to the store in Cubs or Walmart or Rainbow, something like that a black man does not own. 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, a so-called Caucasian owns that store. It says you shall go to your enemies for hunger. And in thirst. That the Sonny that she just gave you, that the woman just gave you. We don't own the Sonny. We don't own Aquafina. We don't own Coca-Cola. We don't own any of that. Right. You see what I'm saying? So we have to go to our enemy, which 9 times out of 10 is a Caucasian man that owns that. Let's read.
And in nakedness.
Because we don't have any clothing lines that's our own. Yeah, we might have Sean John, but the textiles he has to get from our enemies to make that. You see what I'm saying? It's just his name that's on there.
and in want of all things.
He said in a want of all things. When you born, you gotta get a birth certificate from your enemy. When you want your kids to go to school, you have to sign them up in your enemy's school district. When they want a license, you gotta go to the white man to get a license. A marriage certificate, a death certificate, any of that, you have to go to them for that. In want of all things, he mean in a want of all things. You die, your kids can't just go bury you. They be like, oh, you're trying to hide your mom. What did you hide your mom for? Bro, I'm just trying to bury her. No, you got to get permission to bury your mom.
That's right.
That's crazy.
You know.
And watch this, but it's finna give you a clue who your enemy is, because he said in the beginning, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. Let's read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Who did that happen to? What happened to us? If you look on the front of that flyer that I gave you, sis, a yoke of iron is upon thy neck. You see what I'm saying? That was upon us. That's our history. Who did that to us? The so-called white man. The so-called white man did that. God calls him our enemy. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 68. I'm going to show you he called him our enemy again.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So it said that he will send you into Egypt again with ships. Let me get what Egypt is real quick. Exodus 20 and 2.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2.
Because we got to understand what Egypt is to understand what's the meaning. The Bible explains itself.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So it just said that Egypt is synonymous with the house of bondage. What's another word for bondage, sis? Y'all know what another word for bondage is? Look on the front of your flyer. What's another word for bondage? Slavery. Slavery. All praises, sis. He said he would send us again into... Let's read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, bondage or slavery, again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Just the way Moses said it would happen, it happened. He was prophesying then, telling us if we do not do the commandments, this will happen. But now, it's our history. It's prophecy then, it's our history now. Let me finish this real quick, sis.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
We won't see it no more again. Just like it said in Baruch, we're still in the land of our captivity. You see what I'm saying? They never took us back. We still ain't seen our homeland again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
You'll be sold unto your who?
Unto your enemies.
It said, and there, when you get off them ships, you'll be sold unto your enemies. Who bought us when we got off them slave ships? The so-called what? The so-called white man. Y'all gotta understand that these people are not our friends. In Sirach, it said, as surely as iron rusteth, so are their wickedness. You can have a so-called good white friend for a year or two, but as soon as you do something wrong to them, you all kind of black niggas and all this other stuff. Like they'll do you so wrong that it's not even funny. You know what I'm saying? But you would think, oh, well, that's a good white person. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they think you transgressed against them, they'll throw you to the wolves. Let's keep reading.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So in there, you should be sold unto your enemies for slave men and slave women. We have to understand who our enemies are, sis. All these nations are not your friends. Your friends are of your own nation.
That's
Understand that. The Bible calls them your enemies.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. Take care of us. And our children too. We have repented.
hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.